I can't believe what you're saying, Mark Thompson gasped, his hands trembling as he gripped the arms of the chair in the sterile doctor's office. You mean I can't be the father, but I have 5 children? Dr. Elena Ramirez leaned back in her chair, her expression a mix of professional sympathy and unflinching resolve. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed faintly, casting harsh shadows on the walls lined with medical charts and anatomical posters. Mark's world had tilted on its axis in the span of a single sentence. He had come here for a routine checkup, prompted by a nagging fatigue that had plagued him for months. He never imagined it would lead to this, a bombshell that shattered the foundation of his life. I'm afraid the tests are conclusive, Mr. Thompson, Dr. Ramirez said gently, sliding the lab report across the desk. Your sperm count is 0. It's a condition called azoospermia, likely congenital. You've been infertile since birth. There's no way you could have fathered any children biologically. Mark's mind reeled. Infertile, congenital. The words bounced around his skull like errant pimples. He thought of his 5 kids, Emily, the eldest at 12, with her curly brown hair and infectious laugh. Twins, Jack and Lily, 9 years old, always bickering but inseparable. Little Sarah, 6, who still believed in fairies. And baby Max, just turning 2, with his chubby cheeks and first words. They were his everything. He had been there for every birth, every milestone. How could this be? But that's impossible, he stammered, his voice cracking. I've seen them born, I've raised them. They look like me. Emily has my eyes. Jack has my nose. This has to be a mistake. Run the tests again. Dr. Ramirez shook her head. We've double-checked, triple-checked even. The results are consistent. I understand this is devastating news. We can discuss options counseling, perhaps adoption retrospectives if needed, but the biology is clear. Mark's thoughts spiraled into chaos. If he couldn't be the father, then who was? His wife. Laura flashed in his mind. They had been high school sweethearts, married right after college, 15 years of what he thought was bliss. No affairs, no secrets, or so he believed. But now, doubt crept in like a thief in the night. Had she betrayed him? Multiple times, 5 children. That meant years of deception. He stood abruptly, the chair scraping against the linoleum floor. I need to go, I need to think. Without waiting for a response, he bolted from the office. The lab report crumpled in his fist. The drive home was a blur. The suburban streets of Oakwood blurred past, lined with manicured lawns and white picket fences that now seemed mocking. Mark's phone buzzed, Laura calling, probably wondering why he was late. He ignored it, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. How could he face her? How could he look at the kids without questioning everything? Pulling into the driveway, he sat in the car for what felt like hours, staring at the cozy 2-story house they had bought together. Laughter echoed from inside, the kids playing in the living room. He forced himself out, plastering on a fake smile as he entered. Daddy's home, Sarah squealed, toddling over to hug his legs. Mark scooped her up, burying his face in her soft hair. She smelled like strawberries and innocence, but was she his? Biologically, no. The thought stabbed like a knife. Laura appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel. She was as beautiful as ever, her auburn hair tied back, green eyes sparkling. Hey hun, how was the doctor's? Everything okay? Mark hesitated, the words lodged in his throat. Yeah, just routine stuff. I'm fine. He set Sarah down and busied himself with hanging his coat, avoiding her gaze. Dinner that night was torture. The family gathered around the table, chattering about school projects and soccer practice. Emily proudly showed off her A+ on a history test. Jack and Lily argued over who got the last chicken nugget. Max banged his spoon happily. Mark forced laughs and nods, but inside, turmoil raged. Every glance at Laura felt like an accusation. Had she known all along? Was this some elaborate cover-up? After the kids were in bed, Mark retreated to his study. The lab report spread out before him. He poured a scotch, the amber liquid burning his throat. Memories flooded back their wedding day. Laura in white lace, vowing eternal love. The joy of Emily's first cry in the delivery room. Family vacations to the beach, building sandcastles, all built on a lie. He couldn't sleep that night. Lying beside Laura, he stared at the ceiling, listening to her steady breathing. Part of him wanted to confront her immediately, shake her awake, and demand answers. But fear held him back. What if she confessed? What if the family crumbled? The kids, they were innocent, no matter the DNA. They were his in every way that mattered, or were they? The next morning, Mark called in sick to work. He needed space, time to process. Dropping the kids at school, he watched them wave goodbye. Heartsick, Emily's wave. Jack's grin, they were mirrors of Laura, but he had always seen himself in them too. Confirmation bias, perhaps. He drove aimlessly, ending up at the park where he and Laura had their first date. Sitting on a bench, he pulled out his phone and searched azoospermia. Articles confirmed the doctor's words. No sperm, no biological kids. Forums were filled with stories of shattered marriages, paternity tests, divorces. One post caught his eye. Found out after 10 years. A wife had affair with best friend. Kids not mine. Mark's stomach churned. By afternoon, resolve hardened. He needed proof. Stopping at a pharmacy, he bought 5 paternity test kits, discreet mail-in swabs. Hiding them in his glove compartment felt like betrayal, but the doubt was eating him alive. That evening, as the family watched a movie, Mark stole moments to swab the kids' cheeks under the guise of checking for crumbs. It was absurd, guilt-ridden, but necessary. Laura noticed his distraction. "You seem off, Mark, talk to me." He brushed it off. "Just work stress." The lie tasted bitter. Days blurred as he waited for results. Work suffered. He snapped at colleagues, zoned out in meetings. At home he withdrew, excusing himself early to bed. Laura grew concerned, suggesting therapy. "We've always been a team," she said one night, curling against him. "Whatever it is, we can face it." Her words twisted the knife. Was she playing him, or innocent somehow? Artificial insemination. But why hide it? The envelope arrived 2 weeks later, marked confidential. Mark's hands shook as he opened it in his car, away from prying eyes. The results negative for all 5. 0% paternity. The world spun. He wasn't the father, but who was? Rage and sorrow warred within him. He drove home in a haze, bursting through the door. Laura was in the kitchen, preparing dinner. "We need to talk," he said, voice low and dangerous. She turned an alarm in her eyes. "Mark, what's wrong?" He slammed the paternity results on the counter. "Explain this. The doctor says I'm infertile. These tests confirm it." "Whose kids are they, Laura? Who have you been sleeping with?" Her face was drained of color. She staggered back, hand to her mouth. "Oh God, Mark, I can explain. It's not what you think." But as she spoke, the ground seemed to shift again. This was only the beginning.